Hi there. So the disclaimer today is that this video is dedicated to Dr. Parveen from Bangladesh, whom I met through this very YouTube channel during our interactions related to urogynecology. And she was so kind that she managed to travel all the way from Bangladesh for our conference MUG 2022, which was held during 16th and 17th of April. And trust me, she was not the only one to do that. Yes, she was the only international delegate who traveled so far to reach us, but you will be surprised to know that we got 60 registrations from this YouTube family, whom I have never met before face to face. And it was really lovely to meet you all there. I thank you once again for coming to Manipal and making our conference a nice, memorable one. Now, why this dedication, if you are wondering? The dedication is for the sari I am wearing today, was gifted to me by Dr. Parveen, and this is a Dhakai Jamdani sari. Actually, for years, I was dreaming, I was wanting to own a pure Dhakai Jamdani sari, but Parveen, even if I have gone to Dhaka and shopped for myself, I'm sure I would not have been able to pick up such a beautiful piece which you got for me. Really thank you for this one, and I love you. Now, in continuity, when we are talking about this conference, today's video is something related. Herein, I'm going to present a glimpse of the inaugural messages by Ayuga representative as well as Foxy representative about the present and the future of urogynecology in India. And I think the stories, the problems, the challenges hold good not only for India but globally, or at least for the Southeast Asian countries. When you listen to them, when I listen to them, it feels like it's not what they're saying, it's your story, it's my story too. I really, really wanted all of you who desire to carve a niche in this very new field of gynecology to listen to all these messages. So enjoy it.
A very good morning to one and all. I hope everybody is fresh, brimming with joy and confidence, and is eager to learn even more. Today, ladies and gentlemen, we mark the third birthday of the Manipal Urogynecology course, an initiative to establish the prominence of female pelvic medicine and reconstructive surgery in India. Our enthusiasm, our quality, our reach, and most importantly, our dreams have grown exponentially over the past years. India probably caters to the largest number of women with issues that concern the strength and functioning of the pelvic floor. And many of them have been way too embarrassed, uneducated, unaware, or all at once. But that's changing. They are changing the way they look at themselves and asking for a solution which we can give to them. So, to start this day, which we hope to make the most fulfilling and academically enriching, I would like to call the in house rock stars, Dr. Shripad Hebbar and Dr. Diksha Pandey, to call our dignitaries to the dais. First of all, the enigmatic and madly inspiring Dr. Jennifer King, our magnificent Associate Dean, Dr. Anil Bhatt Sir, the boss man of KMC, the Pro VC, Dr. PLNG Rao, and Dr. Niranjan Shah, who is the Foxy representative of urogynecology and has been kind enough to be with us during the conference.
Let it all go. Expect magic. Wait without anxieties and know the universe has your back, said Rhonda Byrne in his bestseller, The Secrets in the year 2006. 1 year before this, also, Steve Jobs, in his very famous Stanford graduation speech, said something similar about connecting the dots. And 10 years down the line, sitting in the third row of an auditorium in Chennai, I saw Dr. Jennifer King speak about the misery and pain of one of her patients who was suffering with urge incontinence. Her passionate oration and such intense description of the story suddenly caught my attention because that was the time when I had just finished the first draft of my third novel, Drenched. And in that story, also, the protagonist suffers with something similar kind of humiliation, agony, and misery. So it was a special kind of empathy I felt both of us shared with our patients and their stories. And when your inner feelings, your core values match so much, I think there is a lot of scope to work together towards excellence as a team. Anyway, as life went on. I could not get a chance to meet Dr. Jenny that time. Came back here, and as usual, life got busy in it, daily churnings. And then, post pandemic, came the year 2022. We should remember always that we might forget our own wishes, but the universe remembers it. Just like that, with a lot of hesitation, we invited Dr. Jennifer King. And I must say, so humbly, so kindly, so warmly, she accepted our invitation. And today, seeing Jenny sitting here, traveling 10,000 kilometers under the looming shadow of COVID-19 restrictions, it had made me a believer in law of attraction and connecting the dots. So, Honorable Pro Vice Chancellor, Associate Dean, dignitaries on dais, all the ladies, and also a few gentlemen sitting there in the audience, though I have told you what I felt for Dr. Jennifer King from the core of my heart, but today it is also my august duty to introduce her formally to all of you as our chief guest for the day's event. So her list of achievements is exhausting. So let me take the liberty to just enumerate a few of them. Dr. Jennifer King is presently the Director, Urogynecology and Pelvic Floor Unit, Westmead Hospital, Sydney, Australia. She is also the Education Committee Chair of world's largest urogynecological association, IUGA, or International Urogynecology Association. She was a chair of Urogynecology Society of Australia, president of Continence Foundation of Australia. She is also in the editorial board of our very famous or reputed international urogynecological journal, which is called Blue Journal. And the list goes on and on. Jenny, I sincerely hope that you will relish the warmth of our hospitality here and go back home with happy memories and lasting friendships. Stage is all yours. Thank you.
I want to talk a little bit, after all of that, I want to talk a little bit more basically about urogynecology. And look, it's a relatively new specialty, as we've heard. And in Australia, it was a subspecialty from, say, the mid-1990s. But in many, many countries in the world, not until later than that. And it's interesting when you talk about our challenges, isn't it? The the biggest challenges most of us have been with the urologists, and my apologies to any urologists in the audience, because if you're here, then you do feel that we're valuable and you do are happy for us to be involved. But many urologists, particularly in my country, don't think we should be allowed anywhere near a cystoscope. What are you doing in my territory? So that's an ongoing struggle. We are making some progress, but I'm sure you've experienced something similar. The other resistance has been from the general gynecologists, who often don't feel, I suppose it's protecting your position, but it's also that thing of, it's not really a valid subspecialty, I can do all of those things, what's your problem? And so we've had to fight that as well. And at the same time, what we are seeing in the whole world is an increase in pelvic floor disorders. Now, we used to be said roughly 20% of women will need surgery for prolapse or incontinence by the time they're 80. By the end of this decade, that will be at least 35% of women. Now, part of the reason for that is definitely increase in obesity in the developed world. That's a big problem in my country, big country in the States, and that adds to pelvic floor dysfunction. But also ageing. Everywhere, our ladies live, my mother is 86 and she has no intention of dying yet. And she expects to be looked after. You know. She still drives. And if anyone said to her, oh, you're too old to have something fixed, she'd be most annoyed. So all our population are more aware that things can be done. We have techniques that we can use on older patients, same as we did on younger patients. But if we look into the future, the other challenge is we look at the world. There is a vast difference throughout the world in the things they struggle with. Now, in a whole lot of areas, all they can do is concentrate on maternal and perinatal mortality, right? Urogynecology is not a priority. They have nothing in the way of even basic urogynecological services. And then we get something that you probably haven't experienced here yet. We're getting all sorts of limitations on the surgical experience and exposure of our trainees. For example, in Britain and the UK and the European Union, this may change now Britain's left the Union, but they have a limit on working hours. So you can't work more than 14 hours without having a break if you're a surgical registrar, which means, hey, you don't do those 60-hour shifts, but you don't learn nearly as much as you used to. And it also means we have to employ more people to cover those shifts, so everyone's getting less experience. You may not. I suspect you're all working horribly long hours, but a recent study of gynecology registrars leaving their training, basically almost half of them felt they didn't have enough experience in their surgical training to take on the problems they were going to face. And this is at a time, one thing we've learned from mesh. We've learned lots of things from mesh, but most of them aren't true. Mostly it's a good procedure when it's done well, but what we've learned is it needs to be done well. And I analysed the complications from mesh that were presented in Australia. Now, 75% of those complications came from the 25% least performing surgeons. So who did the least number of procedures? You do less operating, you make more mistakes. You need to do a lot of what you do and you need to do it well. So this is at a time, for goodness sake, we need more subspecialisation, not less. Now, IUGA, the International Urogynecology Association, you have to let me have a little plug, has a vision statement. And it sounds beautiful, okay? It says, our vision statement, to improve the lives of all women with pelvic floor disorders at all stages of their life through providing excellent health care. Global advancement of knowledge, patient care, education, promotion of research. Now that's fantastic. Who could argue with that? The trouble is we live in a world where a lot of women don't have access to education, right? They don't have basic rights. And we accept that argument that some other things are more important than pelvic floor medicine. We accept it's more important to keep your mothers and babies alive in childbirth. We accept that gynecological cancer is more important than us, and we're perhaps second best. But I would suggest to you that by accepting that, we are accepting that women are entitled to nothing more than being thought of as baby incubators, as child carers. If you are not entitled to more than basic rights in health, we're accepting that makes you less of a person. Now, women are entitled to access that good care. They're entitled to do more than exist. They are entitled to quality of life. So we should never accept that argument that pelvic floor medicine is trivial, or it's a privilege, or it's the icing on the cake. It is essential if women are to have quality of life. So I suggest we keep fighting that one. Now, IUGA has a lot of ways we can help you. Please go on the website and look at the grants that are available, the help with research, the help with training guidelines. But I would like to say, if you want to imagine the future of urogynecology, you don't have to look very far. If you look at what Dr. Deeksha Pandey's organised in her unit with her wonderful team, came from nothing, and it is spreading, right? We have a saying in Australia, and I hope you don't think this is disrespectful, but sometimes we say, well, not everyone's Mother Teresa. You know, not everyone can fix the whole world and look after everyone, but you do what you can. And everything that you can do ripples out, right? Everything you do impacts the next woman, impacts the next junior resident, makes them realise what we're fighting for. So, Dr. Pandey, you've a very good start, my love. And look at what she's done and think about it, guys. And I'm very happy to be here, so thank you.
I would like to call the dignitaries on the dais to kindly rise in order to facilitate the kind, brilliant, funny, and absolutely stunning Dr. Jennifer King. Thank you, that was beautiful. Presiding over the course, we have Dr. Niranjan Shah, sir, the Foxy representative of urogynecology, who has been extremely warm and kind to all of us, interacted so much with all of yesterday. So if you could please kindly come and address all of us.
Sorry, Dr. PLNG Rao, Dr. Jennifer King, other dignitaries on the dais, of the dais. It's a great privilege to be standing at a podium of such a prestigious institute and with an august audience, but for more than that, to be sharing this honor with Dr. King and all of you so as to promote the interest in getting urogynecology its proper place and dignity in the medical curriculum and also in the minds of the people, that something can be done which all these years has been thought that nothing can be done. So we are here as care providers to care seekers, and of course Dr. PLNG Rao has been kind enough from the role of the facilitators for that something really can be done and taken forward so that everybody gets benefited. I am sure that many of you may know, may not know, the turf war between urologists and gynecologists started in 1893 when Cayley first developed an air cystoscope and then catheterized the ureters in 3 minutes, but his counterpart Dr. Young did it in a male in equally same time, and then the war is still going on. But of course, with the passing of time, we are started how to cooperate with each other, and that is the best part of the system, that let us not what is against the system, we should see as what is with the system. and my job has been to connect these individual dots and take them forwards. And I'm happy, and I'll be failing in my duty if I don't mention the small dots which have been doing the job of taking urogynecology ahead. Dr. Shanta Kumari, president of Foxy, has taken keen interest, and we have been also persuading all other following presidents to see to it that they support this movement of urogynecology not only as a one-year project but as an ongoing persistence, so that we bring in a system where the National Medical Council, the Board of Examiners, National Board of Examiners, and other licensing authorities start proper MCH courses, other degree courses, diplomas, fellowships, whatever it is. But the need-based approach will create few students. I will produce opportunities for few students to get into the system. So Foxy is thinking of creating across the line recognized centers for urogynecology as a 3 months course, 6 months course. Maybe you can just go in for incontinence part, or you may go in for some part of coldoplasty. It is not necessary that everything in the basket of urogynecology should be learned. Dr. J.B. Sharma, AIMS, is also keen in promoting this. His chair urogynecology Foxy. Dr. Amita Jain is sitting here. She has written excellently on what is the road ahead, and she has properly mentioned the roles of care seekers, caretakers, and facilitators. And coming down to the revenue part of it, patients will see that yes, the facilities are available across, so it will be cheaper. The gynecologists who are thinking right now that there is nothing to be learnt or there is nothing can be done, and let it live, we will leave it to the urologists, will understand that there is a scope of advancing in the knowledge and also benefiting the society. And when these two together will come in, the facilitators or of course the institutes will go ahead and establish the departments of urogynecology. I will fail to mention Dr. Diksha Pandey, and I am in awe with her achievements, persistence, meticulousness, and a smiling face, not physically also, but if you are in a bad mood, you take out a YouTube and see, go to her YouTube, which is there, and you will be after, at the end of the story, you will be feeling so positive. And I am very much thankful for her to have supported my dream of connecting the dots and bringing everybody on a common platform, and ultimately benefit our students and the patient at large. To tell you the secret, I am hoping that when this all gets connected, I want to be the first one to apply for the fellowship. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. That was very encouraging.